Have you ever wondered why, after all these years, Satan still roams the earth? Why hasn't God simply wiped him out? It's a question that has puzzled many for centuries. Imagine, if you will, a battle that stretches across the heavens. A battle not just of might, but of wills. One side representing pride and rebellion, the other humility and obedience. In the beginning, Satan was once a glorious angel, created by God for good. But something went terribly wrong. His pride led him to challenge the very authority of God. So, why didn't God just destroy him on the spot? Why does Satan continue to exist today, influencing the world in ways we can't always see? In the next few minutes, we'll explore why God didn't simply erase Satan from existence, and how Satan's rebellion fits into the larger story of good and evil. You may be surprised to learn that the answer has everything to do with the powerful gift of free will and the greater plan that only God can see. Section 1. Satan's Rebellion, the genesis of evil and free will. It all started with pride. Satan, once a magnificent angel in heaven, was given a purpose to worship and serve God. But somewhere along the way, something changed. Satan began to desire more. He wanted not just to serve God, but to be like God, to be worshipped and exalted. His pride turned into rebellion, and that's how evil first entered the picture. We can think of pride as the spark that ignites the fire of rebellion. It's like when someone starts believing they deserve more than they have, whether in a job, a relationship, or even in a community. Take, for example, a leader who gets so caught up in their own greatness that they begin to make decisions that harm others. They forget the reason they were given power in the first place: to serve and help, not to dominate. This is what happened with Satan. He thought he could ascend above God. And as his pride grew, so did his desire to overthrow God's authority. But as we know, his plan failed, and Satan was cast out of heaven, along with the angels who chose to follow him. The lesson here? Pride can cloud our judgment, making us forget the true purpose of our lives. We often make decisions out of a desire for control or superiority, only to find that we've lost our way. Satan's fall teaches us that humility is the key to keeping our hearts aligned with God's will. Just like in our own lives, when we choose humility, we open ourselves up to greater wisdom and peace. Now, you may be wondering, if Satan's rebellion came from pride, why didn't God stop him before it all happened? Why allow him to make such a monumental mistake? This brings us to a deeper concept: free will, the gift that allows us all to choose our path, even if it leads us astray. Let's explore why this is so important in understanding why God didn't just eliminate Satan right away. Section 2. The nature of Satan's power, spirit versus physical death. Satan, unlike us, is not bound by the physical world. He is a spiritual being, which means he doesn't experience life and death the way humans do. While we can die, spirits like Satan live on. This distinction helps us understand why God can't just destroy Satan like he would a physical enemy. Spirits aren't subject to physical death. They exist in a different realm. Think of it like this. Imagine trying to fight something invisible, like an illness or an idea. It's not something you can touch or see, but it still affects everything around you. That's a bit like Satan's power. He influences the world, but he himself can't be destroyed by physical means. He's not like a villain in a movie who can be defeated with a single blow. Instead, he's a force that operates in the spiritual realm, where physical laws don't apply. Real-life examples of this might be situations where we face emotional or psychological challenges, things that can be as real and harmful as physical wounds, but not something we can simply fix with a bandage. Satan operates in the same way, influencing the hearts and minds of people, but not in a way we can easily see or touch. So why does this matter? Understanding that Satan cannot be killed the way we understand death helps us realize that spiritual battles are different from physical ones. They require wisdom, discernment, and faith, not just physical strength. It teaches us that we need to address the root causes of our struggles, our thoughts, our hearts, and our choices, because they are often influenced by unseen forces. This leads us to an important question. If Satan can't be destroyed by physical means, what keeps him around? What purpose does he serve in God's larger plan? Let's explore the deeper meaning behind God's justice and mercy in the next section. Section 3. God's Justice and Mercy. Why evil continues to exist. Why does God allow evil to persist, especially when he has the power to stop it? This question often leads us to wrestle with the deeper nature of God, his justice and mercy. While God is all-powerful, he chooses not to instantly erase evil, because he values something far greater, our freedom to choose. Imagine being in a relationship where one person forces the other to love them. It wouldn't feel like love, right? True love can only exist when both parties freely choose it. This is exactly why God gives us free will. He doesn't want us to love him because we're forced to. He wants us to choose to love him. And for love to be genuine, there must be the possibility of rejecting it. That's why, even though evil exists, God allows us to choose our path. In real life, we see this dynamic in many aspects of human experience. Think about a parent who teaches their child right from wrong. The parent could control every action the child makes, but that wouldn't help the child learn to make wise decisions. Instead, the parent allows the child to choose, even though they know the child might make mistakes. And when the child does, they are given grace and a chance to do better next time. This is God's approach too. He doesn't immediately wipe out Satan or those who rebel, because he's giving them and all of us the chance to turn back to him. That's his mercy at work. But at the same time, his justice will eventually prevail. In the end, every choice, every action will be judged. God is patient, but he will not allow evil to go unpunished forever. The lesson here is profound. God's justice doesn't mean he acts impulsively. Instead, his justice and mercy are part of a bigger picture. They give us the opportunity to repent, to grow, and to choose what is good. And in this process, we learn that the greatest good is found in the freedom to choose love over all else. So, if God allows Satan to continue, it's not because he is powerless, but because he is offering the ultimate opportunity for redemption and growth. But what about Satan's ultimate fate? Let's explore the bigger plan in the next section, how even Satan plays a part in God's greater story of redemption. Section 4. Satan's role in God's ultimate plan, the greater good. It may seem strange, but Satan's rebellion and continued existence actually play a crucial role in God's ultimate plan. You see, God doesn't just allow evil for the sake of chaos. There is a deeper purpose. Through the existence of evil, God demonstrates the power of good. In a world where there is choice, where there is free will, the true strength of God's love and justice can shine through. Consider a movie or a novel where the villain plays an essential role in the hero's journey. Without the villain, the hero wouldn't have the chance to grow, learn, or ultimately triumph. The same is true in God's story. Satan, in his rebellion, helps to set the stage for the ultimate victory of good over evil. Through Satan's actions, God's plan for redemption unfolds. Jesus, the ultimate hero, could not fully demonstrate his victory over sin without the challenge of temptation and the ultimate sacrifice on the cross. This doesn't mean that God created Satan to be evil, but rather that he is using even the rebellion for a greater purpose. In the same way, God allows difficult circumstances in our lives, not because he desires pain for us, but because through those challenges we can grow and learn, finding strength in our faith and our choices. It's like an athlete who pushes through pain and hardship in training to achieve greatness. The hardship isn't the goal, but it makes the victory more powerful. The lesson here is profound. Sometimes the greatest victories come through struggle. God's plan is not just about wiping out evil, it's about showing the power of good, the strength of faith, and the ultimate redemption of all things. While Satan's rebellion is tragic, it's also a tool in the grand story of redemption, proving that even evil cannot thwart God's purpose. So, why hasn't Satan been destroyed yet? It's because God's love for his creation is so great that he allows the possibility of evil in order to demonstrate the true power of good. And ultimately, Satan's defeat is assured in the final judgment, where God's justice and mercy will triumph. Let's take a moment to reflect on the hope that comes from understanding that God's plan is always greater than the struggles we face today. Conclusion: the final judgment and the hope beyond. As we've journeyed through the story of Satan's rebellion and his ongoing role in God's plan, one thing becomes clear. The story isn't over yet. There is a final chapter yet to be written, one where the struggle between good and evil reaches its ultimate resolution. In the end, Satan and all forces of evil will be judged, and God's justice will prevail. But here's the most beautiful part. This final judgment isn't just about punishment. It's about the fulfillment of hope and redemption. We live in a world where suffering, temptation, and evil seem so real, but God promises that these things are temporary. Think about a dark chapter in a book. It might be intense, even painful, but it always leads to the resolution, the turning point where everything makes sense. Just like that, the challenges we face today are part of a larger, divine narrative. God's ultimate victory over evil is assured, and in that victory, we all find our hope. In real life, we often go through struggles that seem endless: difficult relationships, financial hardships, personal losses. But the story of God's final victory tells us that no struggle is without purpose. Like an athlete who faces years of training and sacrifice to reach the peak of their performance, our trials and the challenges we face here are shaping us for something far greater. The lesson we can draw from this is that while we may not understand every trial we face, we can trust that God's plan is bigger than our present circumstances. Every choice we make, every struggle we endure, is part of a divine story that will end with a great and glorious redemption. Satan's power will be broken, and God's love will be victorious. That is the hope we hold on to. knowing that the final judgment will lead to the ultimate good. So, while Satan continues to play his part in the story of the world, we can take comfort in knowing that we, as part of God's creation, are part of a story that leads to victory. God's love is greater than anything we face, and His promises are sure. In the end, hope will win, and we will be part of that glorious triumph.